Hi guys, hold on. Turn my fan down a little bit, but hi guys, Ashley here, also known as Paige fan, and I'm back today with another video. I know I have not been making videos lately, and please just be patient with me to all my fans. I'm still going to finish a couple stuff. It's just I'm really trying to. I was making so many topic videos last month and the month before that. I wasn't really editing a lot, so I'm trying to get some more editing done. I'm trying to get my Roman Reigns edits out the way and still do my OTP stuff for you guys. My OTP wants a couple of videos for you guys. So if I'm not making a lot of topic videos, that's the reason. But today, this is a topic video that I made previously separately, but I had to delete them because YouTube was acting really weird. So I deleted some videos. It was weird. So I accidentally deleted them. So I decided I was going to talk about it again in one big video. So the videos that I made previously were about ranking Paige, AJ Lee, and the Bella Twins. My opinion on all four of them from 2014 and 2015. They were kind of like the top divas of that time. So I just want to give my opinions on all four of them and let you know who I think overall stands out the most. So let's just do this. The first one I'm going to talk about is Paige. Honestly, I think Paige is the definition of mediocrity. Her entire career for the 2 years that she was there was just very mediocre. The only real thing that she really did was beat AJ Lee the night after WrestleMania. That's probably the only real significant moment in her entire career is AJ Lee putting her over the night after WrestleMania. Now, me personally, I wasn't really a big fan of the Paige and AJ Lee feud. I know a lot of smarks weren't really happy about it. I personally wasn't happy about it, and then when I look back and watch the feud, I kind of feel like, people, you see fans will try to use this like, oh my God, AJ Lee is a top star. How couldn't she not have a significant feud with Paige? And it's like, are you kidding me? There are a lot of top guys in WWE who had feuds that weren't good. John Cena had feuds, Randy Orton had feuds, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Triple H. The list goes on and on. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. A lot of these guys, do you think every feud they were in was going to be perfect? No. There's going to be some people that you're going to have chemistry with and some people that you're not going to have chemistry with. And it just didn't click. Her and Paige just didn't click, and that's totally fine. And I'm not going to make any excuses for AJ Lee, but you guys have to understand the territory that she was in at that time. Her husband, CM Punk, just left the company. I can't even imagine how awkward and unprofessional it must have been being in that predicament. He's leaving, everyone knows you guys are together, but you're still here. And it's beef, triple stuff. It was just a lot at that time with her. And I feel like we all try to perceive what we try to all have these perceptions, but yet we don't really know the story. And personally, I'm a fan of her, so of course I know the story. I haven't read her book yet, but I've read glimpses of what she wrote online. I've listened to podcasts about that predicament being there and he left. So I understand what she was going through. I just like the feud with her and Paige. I would say the feud was very entertaining. I would say compared to what Paige and Nikki Bella had going on, if you want to call it a feud, at least the writers tried to give AJ Lee and Paige something. They didn't even try to do that with Paige and Nikki Bella. At least it gave us interesting segments, entertaining moments, but their matches just didn't click. The only real match that I liked with them is the match at SummerSlam. I thought that match had great, decent time. It had good back and forth action, and I liked it. I think it was just time for her to move away from Paige. So that's just my opinion on Paige and AJ Lee's feud. Paige is a superstar. I didn't really click to Paige just to say I don't understand what it was that fans are just so captivated by. She can't talk. She had like no character, no real characteristics. The only thing that she could ever really say clearly on the microphone was, "This is my house." She just wasn't interesting. She was the definition of just really, really uninteresting. I won't call her boring. Like, she isn't a Finn Balor where it's like, oh my gosh. It's like they just can't give this guy anything. At WWE, I think they tried to get paid something, it just wasn't clicking. I honestly feel like if they would have given her how she acted in Total Divas, I think Paige would have been way more interesting as a person. Like, she's just really annoying and not likable. She's really a bully. And I think they should have given her that on TV. That they really could give her her real persona. And that's the thing. They don't try to give these people a chance to prove to show who they really are. And I think Paige, if they would have had let her act more like how she acted on Total Divas, I think Paige would have been a little bit more interesting. So my verdict on Paige is very underwhelming, and her 2 years weren't that great. And honestly, like I said, actually no, the only two real moments in her career is Night at WrestleMania and when AJ Lee helped her, when AJ Lee gave her her first real WrestleMania build up and first WrestleMania big match. That's it. So that's it, my vertigo Paige. She sucks. She was never that good, and I don't understand why Smarks was like, oh my gosh, how can it be you not let her come back? And everything like that. It's like she can just stay away. So the next person I'm going to talk about, Brie Bella. Brie mode. Honestly, I would say 2014 was a good year for Brie. A good year for her. The start of it was great, but the end of it wasn't. WE really missed the ball. As you all know, I'm not really a big fan of the Bella Twins. I honestly think their entire career is smoke and mirrors. And but let's talk about Brie Bella. So Brie Bella, she caught fire in the middle of what Daniel Bryan had going on. He had to give up his titles, and Brie Bella ended up slapping Stephanie, writing Brie on TV as she quit, and this engaged Stephanie into torturing Nikki for months because of what Brie did. So Stephanie and Brie have this significant match at SummerSlam. I honestly really love the build-up. I don't think the match is all that great. I don't really want to be like, oh my god, it's because you don't like Brie Bella. No, it's not that. It's just the match was okay. The fact that Nikki Bella said in her biography that it was a bigger match than what John Cena and Brock Lesnar had going on, I thought that was just very controversial because it's like, wait, hold on. Much as I love Stephanie, she's been here for a long time. You were going to tell me that a match between you two is a bigger match for the title of the company? Come on now, stop. It might have been a better build-up. I'll probably give it a better build-up than what Brock and John Cena had going on. But a better match, I don't know. Brock Lesnar suplexing John Cena 16 times, but John Cena getting no offense will still be significant to this day. People still talk about this to this day. Come on. I thought the match was okay. Brie had great comeback. Stephanie looked really good being a heel. She was showing some old school heel mannerisms like in the Attitude Era, it was the Aggression Era. And it was really good. I loved the Nikki Bella heel turn. The one thing, we'll get into that when we get to Nikki Bella, but I did like the turn Nikki Bella did, crossing Brie and everything like that. And this is where Brie's build-up went downhill from this very moment because they decided to shift away from her and Stephanie and focus on her and Nikki. We got this terrible Bella Twin feud. This has to be one of the worst feuds in the PG era, hands down. This feud was so funny, and it was just like a bootleg soap opera. Each week it was about, you crashed my car, you stole my boyfriend, you stole my prom dress. It was just so goofy and just laughable. The Jerry Springer segment was hilarious. I thought it was some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. I don't think the Bella Twins are great actors. I don't think they're good on the promo. I think they have no real characteristics. And I feel like this is where Bree's storyline significance went down because you would have moments where Nikki is not getting any real heat from being a heel. Like, she's not getting no real reaction from the things that she's saying, the things that she's doing. And it's like Brie will take it. But I understand we did see moments of Brie fighting back. So you build Brie up. You build both of them up. Nikki is trashing her, tearing her down, saying she's the reason for this and the reason for that. And at Hell in a Cell, Nikki Bella wins. I honestly feel like that should have been Brie's moment to beat Nikki. I understand people were like, wait, but Nikki lost at Night of Champions, and Nikki lost at Night of Champions. I feel like this would have been a perfect moment for Brie to get her upcoming because Nikki dominated her the whole time in the segments. Like, you trashed the babyface to this extent, and she doesn't even win a match. Okay, she don't win a match at Hell in a Cell. All right, I can live with that. But the fact they don't even have a rematch, like they just automatically be like, "You're gonna be my servant now." Like there should have been another match before that decision was made about Nikki Bella, Brie Bella being Nikki Bella's bitch. Another match should have been made before that significant moment. So, and then at Survivor Series, when Nikki Bella beats AJ Lee for the title, Brie turns heel out of nowhere. This had no build up, nothing. It has happened very randomly. And then from here on in, Brie is just kind of in Nikki Bella's shadow, being a jobber. This is what fans are talking about. Doing stupid things and no one gets credibility for this. And they booked her like a jobber too. It wasn't even like a Jey Uso Roman Reigns type of partnership where like Jey will lose but yet he still is presented very strong. No. Brie Bella will lose and she will be presented very, very weak. Losing every single week, every single day, taking jabs for Nikki, and it was just stupid. It was just dumb. So Brie Bella, this is where her significance went down. And then in 2016, she retired. She had a feud against Charlotte, whatever, and she retired in an unsignificant match at WrestleMania. And you know what? I'm happy that I know she had returns here and there. The stuff with the Miz and Maurice, I wasn't really a big fan of that. They should have had Brie Bella and Maurice should have not gotten involved with Daniel Bryan and Miz had going on in 2018. They ruined that feud. I drink my coffee. But as you can see, Brie Bella, her career is kind of at the start of her catching fire. They really ruined her execution. So you know what? I'm really sorry that happened to Brie because I feel like her execution should have been a little bit more empowering, but it wasn't. So that's Brie Bella. Yeah, I mean that's really it. I would say that's not really good. I think the only good stuff to come from her career at that time probably would have been the Stephanie stuff and the stuff that she did with AJ Lee in 2013. I absolutely do not like the stuff that she did with Nikki Bella. I thought it was terrible. And I guess you could say her involvement with the For Her Summer coming up, but even in that scenario, she was still booked like a jobber. She wasn't even presented as a big deal, even though she's been in this company for like, I don't even know how long, 13, I think they were going on 13 years, 10, I have no idea. Let's just say a long time. And she wasn't even presented as someone who could teach them the ropes. Anyway, on Nikki Bella now. Nikki Bella. Nikki. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, I always try to understand why people liked her more than Brie. I've always tried to understand this, and I don't understand what's the difference between them. Because the Bella twins, they're kind of like a Finn Balor, just not interesting. They don't have any interesting feuds that they carried. Give me an interesting Nikki and Brie feud where they were the ones presented as the bigger stars and it gave you entertaining moments, entertaining segments, any of that. Nikki Bella had a feud, her comeback. I know, I want to get into 2014 stuff first, but I'm going to use it as an example. In 2016, she had a feud with Carmella and Natalya. And both of the feuds were literally the same. You're sleeping with John Cena. You're sleeping with John Cena. Like, her feuds were just really boring and just copy and paste it. It was just so boring. Like, we've seen this 10,000 times. Like, aren't we tired of hearing people talk about John Cena? Like, I'm getting really tired of that. It was fine when AJ Lee was saying it because at least it sounded personal, like it was things going on. You could just tell that Carmella and Natalya, they were just doing this to get fake heat. Like, to get no real heat at all. It was just stupid. So, let's talk about Nikki Bella. I don't understand why people like her more than Brie. Please tell me what it is about Nikki that's just so appealing. Now, the one thing I will say with Nikki is that even though she had like no real character, and this is where it gets stupid, in the ring she will show characteristics, especially when she's wrestling. I feel like she wrestles more like a heel. I feel like that's why she should be a heel because she's just, people find her to be very unlikable, and I feel like she's better when she's a heel. Like, they should have played up to that, like her being disliked, people having like, they didn't, and I never understood why they didn't play up to that. her being disliked, why people didn't like her. Why did they not make that her heel character instead of her being like, Brie crashed my car and that's why I'm a heel? Like, it was just stupid. Oh my god, it was so cringe. God. But yeah, I would say Nikki Bella is a great wrestler, but when it comes to the character stuff and the promo stuff, she's like a Finn Balor, just very mediocre and just not interesting at all when it comes to that. Let's get into Nikki. Okay, so 2014, I already said this already. She's having these matches, she's being tortured, and she turns heel on Brie. This is where, and I feel like the night after SummerSlam, this is where it also went wrong. She should have joined the Authority. To this day, I don't understand why she didn't join them. Instead, they decided to put her in a terrible feud against Brie. What should have happened is that she should have had went into the Authority. They were giving her all this power, and that's when we would have got her and Brie's feud. That's what they should have done, but they didn't. So her and Brie get this feud, and Brie's her bitch now, and they're building Nikki up as the next contender for AJ Lee. I absolutely love the build up to Survivor Series. I thought it was great. She beats AJ Lee in like 2 minutes, which I thought was very mediocre for a heel to win. I guess you could say that's great, but me personally, I just thought it was kind of weak. So her and AJ Lee have a match TLC that I thought was great, a great match. Nikki Bella retains, cool, whatever. AJ Lee takes a hiatus, and we get this stale ass title reign of her showing no real characteristics, not leveling her up as a character. AJ Lee gave you the ball, and she couldn't even run with it. The woman makes the title. The title doesn't make the woman. And I don't think Nikki Bella learned that at all during her title reign. She didn't make the title interesting at all. The title didn't make her interesting. She was just very boring. They were switching her character from heel to babyface. All she did was fight Paige with no storyline. And then they brung the Four Horsewomen on it, and then created this whole three-way, their version of Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and Jeff Hardy. They ended up creating these tag teams, which I thought was, to this day, very retarded. I don't know why they did that. I thought that was just stupid. Wouldn't it have made sense if they would have brung the Four Horsemen up here as competition for Nikki Bella's title? Why do we want to see tag team matches? Does it make any sense? And then during that, we still get terrible segments of her saying cringy stuff. They decided to give her a bootleg segment of what AJ Lee had in 2014. No one showed up to her celebration, which I thought was very just like, wow, so you're going to create a bootleg segment. Okay. And they're doing this whole, she's going to break the record, which I thought was incredibly forced. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think she deserved to break AJ Lee's record. I think personally, in my mind, that's how I'm going to take it, I think it was just WE being very personal. I think they wanted to punish AJ Lee for leaving the company, so they decided to have Nikki Bella beat her reign. And I don't think Nikki Bella deserved to beat it, because they didn't do anything with it. They didn't do anything with that title reign. The whole time she was champion, she had no real character development, no real interesting segments, no interesting moments, no interesting feuds. And then her and Charlotte have this feud, I guess you can call it that. And Charlotte beats her for the title. Just like that. Just like that. This person that you build up to beat the record for 301 days loses the title like that. I thought that was just very mediocre. And she wasn't even presented as a big star either during her title reign. Like, at least when AJ Lee will lose, she would still be built up as a big star the very next Raw, the very next SmackDown. And AJ Lee was always interesting on a Raw. Her segments were always presented very interesting on a Raw or SmackDown. Nikki Bella was the complete opposite of that. After she lost against Charlotte, they just still was having her do cringy stuff, saying cringy things, just sounding very stupid on the microphone. And then she breaks her neck, and she's on a hiatus. She comes back at SummerSlam, and they have this whole thing with her, Carmella, and then her and Natalya, and I already discussed that. And then they put her and John Cena together in this mixed tag, and and that's all there is to really say at this point. I know she comes back here and there for the stuff around the Rousey. I don't really care about that either. And there you go. I mean, that's really her career. Um, Again, just very mediocre. If you honestly think that's a great career, I really have to question the wrestling fans who watch wrestling. I really have to question this because I just don't understand what it is. And then I really have heat with Nikki Bella now because, I never had an issue with her personally. I don't know her in real life. She annoyed me on Total Divas. I don't know why they presented her like that. I'm gonna assume they just had her act. I'm gonna assume they had everyone act like a character on that show because it was just so heavily scripted. Um, I watched her podcast with Renee Young, and she was just really saying some things that really got underneath my skin, trying to blame AJ Lee for the reason why her and Brie couldn't get over with the fans, why it took her and Brie such a long time to get into their career where they wanted to go, like just blaming other people for why you couldn't be successful at that time or this point. And I just took that very personally because that is such a bullshit thing to say. No one kept you from being successful. Y'all were there for a long ass time before AJ Lee got there. Y'all had plenty of time to find what y'all wanted to do, and you didn't. AJ Lee was there. AJ Lee debuted on the main roster in 2011, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. AJ Lee's 5 years in WWE will always be more significant and more memorable than what the Bella Twins did for their whole career that they were there. I think they debuted in 2008. Come on. And it's AJ Lee's the reason why y'all couldn't get over for those years y'all were there the whole time? That's bullshit. It's dumb. And if it wasn't for WWE giving them Total Divas, I doubt that they would be the big stars that they are today. I really doubt that. I mean, WWE gave them a foot out the door to branch out and do these things, create their own businesses, to people to get to know who the fuck the Bella Twins are, to give them this time to be on the red carpets. And I'm very proud that they done that. I'm very proud that they done things outside of wrestling. I am proud. Just like AJ Lee has done things outside of wrestling. She has her own books. She has her own comic books. She started in TV shows, and she has her own mental health campaign. They have their own books. They have their own companies. I don't understand how AJ Lee is the reason y'all couldn't get over because of a scripted promo, a scripted pipe bomb that came off very, very real. And I'm assuming that that's how everything April felt in real life, AJ Lee's real name. I'm pretty sure she felt that way. And I don't disagree on how she cut that promo because everything she said was absolutely true. For the longest time, Vince McMahon has been signing women who have no idea what they're doing when it comes to that ring, when it comes to being charismatic, cutting a promo, and getting people to pay attention. AJ Lee was the first diva in a long time since Trish and Lena that made me give a fuck about female wrestling. And ever since she left in 2015, I haven't cared that much about it. The only person that caught my eye when she left was Alexa Bliss. And now Alexa Bliss is not on TV. So I don't care about what the women are doing. Absolutely not at all. So I feel like we just need to stop blaming other people for why we couldn't get over, why we couldn't do this, why we couldn't do that. AJ Lee is not the reason. Because if I am being real here, she's the reason why they even got over. She gave them the best matches, the best feuds, the best moments they'll ever have in their career because of AJ Lee. Because she is a big star and she'll elevate anybody she needs to elevate. Period. So AJ Lee is the reason they couldn't get over, but when AJ Lee was on her way out of the door, changing the guards, they were on their way in. WWE was giving them merchandise. They had their own 2 shows. Come on. Get out of here, Nikki Bella. That's bullshit, and you know it. So that, to me, that rubbed me the wrong way. It still does, hearing her say that, because I just don't like how she worded it. So, no. So that's my opinion on all 3 of them. Let me know your opinion. I'm going to do a separate video on AJ Lee because she's the queen bee. She doesn't need to be in a video with these 3 scumbags, these 3 scallywags, these 3 bottom of the barrel tricks. she is gonna have her own video about how great she is, and I'll keep praising AJ Lee until the day I am in my grave. I don't care how any of you feel about what I just said. Actually, I don't really mean that. You guys are my fans, you guys are my subscribers. I love you guys. I want to know what you guys think, but I'm not gonna change my opinion on them at all, because that's just how I feel every time I watch them. So, thanks for listening, and let me know what you guys think.